Okay, everybody, thanks for being here. If you would, again, mute your cell phones or turn them off, whatever's easiest. Mike, you guys good back there?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Coach, whenever you're ready, if you would, with an opening statement.
Yeah, just our team's extremely excited to get playing. The quality of opponent that we're playing to start the season, very excited about. A lot of new faces on both sides for Cal and for us. Some people we're familiar with, though, that we played against in the past. But we're excited to get rolling and excited to have a first game with this much on the line.
Coach, thanks for doing this. This year, so many changes. Finally, it's the anticipation week everybody's been waiting for, game week. You've gone through the portals. You've gone through new players and the camp. What's this week like for you as far as prep and just the excitement for the team?
Yeah, I think from a prep standpoint, it's business as usual. The excitement part is, right, we're very excited, both players and coaches. We're excited about the team we got, the talent we have, the group of young men that are on this team, and we're excited to go out there and get a chance to showcase it really for the first time.
Justin Wilcox, in this world of college football coaching volatility, he's in year 9 at Cal. Talk about him a little bit. What makes him successful and the team he's bringing to Corvallis Saturday?
Yeah, I think just Cal, since he's been there, has been they've been very good on defense. That's always been a consistent thing with Cal. And then, over the last couple of years, they've tried to create, and they've had some good quarterback play. And they got a young kid starting for him right now, but he's a very talented player. We know through recruiting. And so I think those kind of staples of what his teams are will be what we see on Saturday.
One more question from me. You look at the depth chart that just came out, your thoughts about it. It seems to me just on the surface, you've got some pretty good depth at running back, at tight end, and interesting 1-2 punch at quarterback.
Yeah, I think we're definitely deeper than we were a year ago at just about every position. I like our depth. I think we got guys outside of just the starting group that can come in and play winning football and can do some really good things. So that's just going to help you not only the first game, but as the season goes on.
You mentioned that Cal is going to be starting a true freshman quarterback. How do you go about preparing for a true freshman? And does the diabolical side of you have some special plans for him, and maybe things he hasn't seen before going into week 1?
I think you're preparing for what they do schematically. Who the quarterback is matters a little bit as far as his tendency, and you can watch him. Now it's high school, but you watch the way he reacts to rush and how he likes to escape, and what he's good at, what are his strengths and weaknesses. But as far as game planning, getting ready to win, you're preparing for what Cal does and how they're going to try to attack you, both through formations, motions, those kind of things.
Coach, a lot has obviously happened in about the last year or so from your first year to second year head coach. How confident do you feel that this year's group of Beavers can get the job done, hit the Beaver standard, and get more wins onto the record book this season from last year to this year?
Well, just talking about this group, just what they've shown me, right? So that's where the confidence comes from, what they've done throughout winter conditioning, spring football, and fall camp. They've played the game the way we want it played as far as their effort, their toughness, their physicality. And then that's where the confidence comes because of what they've done, the work they've put in.
Hey, Coach, obviously an injury that folks are curious about is that of Darius Clemens. I'm wondering, what things are looking like for him for week 1 and going forward at this point.
Yeah, injuries, I've said it in the past, or Hannah, if Darius wants to talk about it, he's more than welcome to. I'm not going to talk about an injured player.
Last year's Cal game was obviously a bit of a low point for the team in year 1. How important is it to you to open up, with them in your own house this year?
I think it's just important to open up, the way we want to open up, regardless of the opponent. I think having a team to the quality of Cal makes it that much more exciting and important because it's not a warm-up game, right? It's not like playing some team that or expect to win. This is going to be a tough game. They're a great opponent, great team, and we got to be at our best to go out and play the way we want to.
When you're putting that depth chart together, and getting ready to get guys prepared for a week 1 opponent. I'm curious, is there anyone in fall camp who's just really blown you away that you were excited to list maybe higher than you previously thought and are just excited to get on the field?
I mean, there's a number of guys that I'm excited to get on the field. Not only they were either new this year or guys that were really young last year that we feel are going to have really good breakout seasons this year. There's a number of them. And so it's just exciting to see the growth in the guys that have been here. But then I think we've added some really nice pieces through, the portal that are going to help us.
Trent, you mentioned their freshman quarterback. Talk a little bit about him. How good is he, and what will you have to do to defend him?
Yeah, he's an extremely talented kid. He's got a great arm. He is a good athlete. He can move around. So you can pose problems that way, his ability to escape and throw on the run. So I think he's a very, very good quarterback and was very sought after and by us as well. So I think he's a real good player that can come in and run the offense. They obviously have a bunch of confidence in him and feel great about him if they're starting him as a true freshman. So that says a lot.
You've been working with your defense. Talk about the strengths and maybe if you have any weaknesses that you're concerned about overall on the defensive side.
Oh, I won't talk about that stuff. Anything that would give Cal an upper hand, I won't discuss.
Just with the challenges of game one, you obviously don't have a ton of recent film that you can study in preparation. Just so, how important will it be for your team to really make in-game adjustments as the game's on in order to execute?
Yeah, I think that's always important. What you can expect. You kind of look at what they've done in the past. The offensive coordinator's done in the past, and not just what he's done, but the tree that he comes from. Because that's just kind of how the coaching works. You communicate and you talk and you kind of do the same things within those trees. So that's what you're looking at. Even though he wasn't coordinating a year ago, right? The people that were in his tree were coordinating a year ago, and so that's what you're looking at. What's that family tree look like?
And obviously the team has talked, you talked a lot about the team and their preparation for this game, but obviously for you, this will be the first official game that you're going to take on calling the defense. How have you kind of prepared during fall camp to be able to put yourself in that role to be both head coach and calling the plays on defense?
Yeah, it starts with having great help, not only from the staff, but then the additions we've made to the staff. And we've got a plan on how that's going to work in game. It's worked really well from just the game planning, the practice, how practice is run. When we scrimmage, we've ran through how that's going to work. And so I feel great about our plan and moving forward. And it's been really seamless for me, and that's because of their help.
Coach, looking at this Cal team, obviously a different roster than they had last year, but for the guys that were on last year's team, is there conversation, more motivation about, obviously knowing how last year went, wanting to make good on that in this game?
No, there's not. It's last year, win or lose, has no bearing on what happens this year or that game. So there's really no conversation about it just because it doesn't matter.
And Ty G. Hill, a guy that showed up on the depth chart, and obviously wasn't eligible last year. I'm wondering, what his status is looking like going into this season and his availability.
Yeah, kind of same thing as the injury part. Anything with availability is on the player, not me.
We've heard Coach a lot about players that, if you can react, if you know the playbook everywhere, just read and react and go is a little bit faster than having to think through things. So with that, how do you feel about Malik and his control of the playbook and all of that? He's had spring and now fall.
Yeah, Malik's done a great job. I feel great about where he's at. He's grown just from spring to fall camp to where he's at right now, and his understanding of not only the offense and how to get the formations and motions and redirect protections, but also the reads and where based on what Coach Gunderson calls, right, here's where it should go, then there's your next one, then there's your next one. And so he's just grown tremendously in that area and feel great about where he's at right now.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about the fact that Coach Cav is back? I mean, he was so much a part of the teams from years ago, but here he is back in fine form. Talk about the impact he has.
It's been great. Cav hasn't changed a bit since the last time he was here. But he's a great coach and a great teacher. And he's bringing a toughness that his offensive line groups have been known for in the past. And so his ability to develop and get guys to, get better as we continue to go. And I think we saw that in fall camp. The offensive line's improvement from spring till where they're at now has been tremendous. And Cav's a big part of that.
Real quick, year one, first year as a head coach here at Oregon State, now year two. What's the comfort level like this summer compared to last year?
Oh, yeah, I think in every regard, just understanding what the job is and what it entails and how you need to manage your time and allocate certain things. Just being able to know that and do that has made, I think, life easier for me and hopefully for our staff and players.
Coach, there's been obviously a lot of practice from last spring through all the way through this fall. Do you feel like over the last several months, last several weeks from spring to fall, you've seen enough growth from this team heading into week one? And if you can elaborate, where do you feel like you saw the biggest leaps within this team that brings you again, and that kind of level of confidence heading into this first week of the season?
Yeah, I think especially this day and age in college football, the way that they've been able to work together, with the way they work together on the defensive side of the ball, the communication that has to take place, trusting and believing that the guy next to you is going to be in his fit so you can be in yours. That kind of growth has been great. Same thing on offense with the offensive line, new quarterback, all those things that take time to get to comfortable and understand each other and know where each other is going to be and the communication that has to take place to get everyone on the same page. That's been the biggest growth and is necessary nowadays to be successful in college football.
And, kind of sticking on that point of the modern landscape of college football with the hiring of front office sports and, the hiring of a general manager for the athletic department, I'm curious your thoughts, how that makes your job easier and, how you guys are navigating kind of the early stages of that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it easier just who I have to deal with and who I don't. It takes the load off of that. That part's really good. But, I think it's turning into professional sports, or it is professional sports. And so having people in those places is necessary.
Coach, you mentioned other people helping you devote a lot of time to be a position coach and a coordinator, but I'm wondering specifically about Rob Akey, your relationship with him, how long you've known him, and what he's all about and how he's helped you.
Yeah, Rob's helped me tremendously. I've known him since I was in high school. He worked with my father at Washington State, and then he went on to become the defensive coordinator and then head coach at Idaho. So he's got coordinating experience at a high level. He's worked in the NFL, college, and he's been a head coach. So he can help me with that certain things as a head coach and the head coaching job and take some pressure off me at certain times when it comes to that, and he's done it himself. And the advice he can give me on being able to handle those things has been great for me.
I know that we like to move on. Obviously, when a season is last season, it's just that. But do you feel like there were some wins last season that were maybe left on the table? And heading into the season, does that maybe make you more hungry as a head coach, the team hungry as a head coach to kind of prove that last year, yes, there were some issues, but you guys are ready to show that last year was just last year, right? It's a new year that you guys can prove something different.
Well, I think the new year thing is every year. I think once that season ends, as coaches for sure. Now maybe it takes players a little bit longer, but as coaches for sure, it's we don't even think about what happened. You watch and you learn from, okay, what were the mistakes that were made, or where did we get hurt, and correct those mistakes. But as far as looking in the past or trying to have redemption from last year, that's really not a thought process. It's this group, this season, this game, moving forward.
Micaiah last week announced his medical retirement. Because of his situation, what's that conversation with him like? And what do you say to a young man who things just didn't go the way that anyone would have hoped over his time and several efforts to get back, and it looked like it was going to work out until it didn't? What's that conversation like?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely tough for a young person, especially a guy as talented as Micaiah is. He's just battled a bunch of injuries and not just small injuries, knee injuries and long rehabs. And so kind of when he came in, we just talked about that. And when he told me that's what he felt he should do, I mean, I completely understand. I mean, it's been about 3-4 years where he's been battling injuries, and that can weigh on you anyway. And then just moving forward with multiple knee injuries, you know, the quality of life you want to continue to have when, you know, when you're out of college and moving forward. So that's the big reason he made that decision, and totally support him. And, you know, he'll be successful in whatever he does because he's just a motivated, hardworking person that yeah, I enjoyed being around.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.